Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 3 in a best of 3 series between aTn's Socke and Select here on Shattered Temple, and why don't I show you the actual bases. So yes, Select spawning here at the 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock position of Shattered Temple, the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, Socke spawning as the red Protoss here, and this will be close by air spawning locations, so very, very interesting. We'll see whether or not that does come into play. When you do spawn close by air, it does have a number of different options, or a number of different different strategies that you can try to open up with. Socke pretty much opened up with that standard build so far, and we'll see what Select tries to do. So far, Select has been opening up with a lot of bio play, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, Ghosts, and yeah, so just using that very, very effectively with Vikings in order to try to counter Colossi. Socke countering with gateway units, Colossi, fully upgraded Colossi in Game 1, and also Storm in Game 2. But Socke unable to really just deal a damaging blow to Select, as Select was able to get up his economy and simply be able to out-macro his opponent. So we'll see whether we are going to see another macro game, or if it will perhaps be a timing attack or some sort of build with early pressure. Select now getting the barracks on the front door. We do see gas now being built over here. Both players pretty much know where the other player already is, as those workers did pass each other. SCV just doing a quick roundabout, taking a look, sees the assimilator, sees the gateway, the probe able to sneak in. The probe will catch the second refinery being built. SCVs will transfer over as the probes now coming back in, and there you go, getting 3 SCVs, upgrading to an orbital command, and now training up a Marine. That probe has a very small window in time in order to try to escape. Will he be able to escape? It looks like he will be able to, yeah, and perhaps even delaying that front door just a little bit. So a little bit of interesting play by Socke. Socke knowing that he could perhaps delay that supply depot. And then now that Marine trying to chase down this one particular probe, delaying the supply depot ultimately does delay the factory as well. So we'll see what's going to be coming in from there. I expect a factory to be built, and then we may see a second refinery in order to perhaps go into some Banshee pressure. Since this is close air spawns, this Marine now trying to run around that far side, this probe being very, very smart, gonna hide itself over here. The Marine, not quite sure what to expect, now gonna be coming into this position here, and the Marine will spot this one probe. There is 2 Marines. That probe doesn't stand much of a chance, gonna get destroyed. So the scouting probe has been destroyed. Meanwhile, a Zealot now moving over to the center of the field in order to gain some sight. I believe the SCV was able to catch sight of this, as the Zealot now activating that center Zelnaga watchtower for just a split second. There is that factory, there is that refinery that I mentioned just moments ago. A bunker now going to be placed down here, and we are going into a reactor. Not what I was expecting at all. We are going to have 4 Marines up on the high ground. The supply depots need to be raised. The Zealots now taking a little bit of damage there, as we are now going in. What are we going to be seeing? I am confused as what exactly is going to be trained. We are going into 1 Hellion, and perhaps we will see a tech lab added on after this. This is not any build that Select has used in any of the games I've seen recently, so I can't make too many predictions. I thought it was going to be Banshees, but now I can't predict that. Perhaps a drop with Hellions if they do a swap onto this barracks. Double training up Hellions, we'll see in just a moment. It looks like, is there going to be a swap? No swap at all. Adding on that tech lab instead, and now we should see double trained Marines, and we'll see whether or not we go into a tech lab add-on. The tech lab was delayed just a little bit, so that was a little bit curious. Select going to be delayed by a couple seconds and trying to add on and perhaps build some Banshees. It is going to be Banshees. Yes, it is going to be Banshees. Okay, so my initial thought was accurate, but the problem right now, Select is currently supply blocked at 27 over 27. Now it's at 33 over 35. That is not good news at all, as we are now going into another tech lab and now trying to train up more Marines. The Hellion going to try to run up that ramp. It does get stuck, and it's not going to really be able to deal any damage at all. Very nice by Socke, trading off the energy from a sentry to take down 1 Hellion rather quickly. We are getting Cloak now, so that Cloak Banshee may be able to deal a lot of damage if it was not for the fact that Socke is already getting Observers. Observers now being added to this. Stalkers are in position. Stalkers very, very much aware that the timing on when Banshees can show up inside the base. The front door does have that bunker, so we'll see what's going to be happening here. Are we going to train up another, perhaps another Banshee? We're not quite sure why Select is floating on so many minerals. Same thing with Socke. So Socke currently floating on a lot as well. Perhaps those warp gates are on cooldown, and that is the issue. We can now see this Banshee is going to have a very, very bad day in just a moment. And it looks like it's going to try to fly in from that top side. The Observer does spot this already and getting in a lot of damage. That Banshee down to 60 hit points, down to 50. And this Banshee with so much invested into it already essentially does no damage at all. 52 compared to 58 now. 27 SCVs versus 32 probes. In comes that Nexus. Socke expanding at the 8-minute mark now. So not a fast expansion, just a standard expansion there, as we should perhaps be getting siege tech in just a moment. It looks like this will be the 1-1-1 build, a timing push with Marines, Banshees, siege tanks. As soon as this third tank is up, we should start to see that siege tech research. There it is. And now Select going to be trying to push out the front door with Marines, siege tanks, and a couple Banshees, and we'll see if that's successful at all. The Banshees now going after the Stalker. The Stalker, however, does walk faster than those Banshees. Will we be able to get off one more shot? That is a key question. It doesn't look like it, as more Stalkers are now coming in, and this is going to be very, very bad news as the Stalkers, the Banshees deciding to back off here. Perhaps they will be able to take down some peripheral pylons. The Banshee does spot this pylon here. Is he going to try to actually go in and deal damage to it? Now coming in cloaked. So a cloaked Banshee now making its way in. The Observer is there. Is it going to deal enough damage? And yes, no, it's not going to deal any damage at all. Select trying to run away down to 20 hit points, 10 hit points, and being saved there. This one Banshee getting 3 quick kills and now backing off once more. SCVs need to come off the mineral line, start repairing. We are getting another round of siege tanks. This will definitely help. More Banshees being added. The Banshees will be there to also try to shut down the Colossi that are now being added as well. The Colossi may spell trouble, especially as we are now seeing Select perhaps doing an all-in maneuver. Yes, it is going to be that all-in maneuver. As I mentioned, you can see all these SCVs making their way out. However, Socke getting plenty of scouting information off of this, knows what is happening, and will have plenty of time to prepare. This is really bad news. Will Socke be able to get up another Colossus? It looks like he will be able to. 2 Colossi with extended thermal lance range and more Stalkers warping in. There are no medevacs in this group at all. The SCVs are not on auto repair. And are we going to have an engagement? Yes, the Banshees, bad timing here. Scanner sweep, perhaps trying to shut down these units. The Colossus over here going to take a lot of damage. No, just all the shields have been depleted. Siege tanks are now going to try to get into this position, perhaps try to cut off any of the reinforcements. Banshees are now in the very, very forward position here, trying to shut down this, and now going after some of the main units. Colossi now coming in. The siege tanks need to back off, and will the Banshees be able to really fend off this attack? All the SCVs have been destroyed. The Marines need to be very careful. The Marines now trying to split up themselves, making sure now going after the Colossi. The Colossi are getting destroyed, but going after the Stalkers. First, the siege tank's not getting destroyed. One Colossus gets taken down. Siege tank, another siege tank adding into this battle. This is not looking good at all. This Colossus may get destroyed. It looks like it will be destroyed in just a moment, as an Observer now finally making its way in. Will another rocket? Yes, another rocket able to hit that Colossus, as we now have a bit of a counterattack, but the worker count, 11 workers compared to 34. This is not good news at all. There's the scanner sweep, and the Stalkers going straight for that siege tank, getting in a lot of damage, and there's the GG. Select losing to Socke here on Shattered Temple. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between aTn, Socke, and Select.